Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we're finally going to start working on the Chevelle body here so we can hopefully get it onto the frame. And my plan was that I was going to do this outside. This last Saturday we had some wonderful spring weather and I really hope that it would last into this week. But today we're expecting 8 inches of snow, so I ain't working outside this week. So I pushed the body into the garage here and it's a bit cramped, but it is what it is. I'd rather work around stuff than to be outside in the snow. So yeah, we're going to try to get the body on this week. I'm not sure if we're going to accomplish that, but what I want to do is I want to get this up in the air a bit so that we can look a bit under it, because I haven't really looked anything on this, and obviously we can't put it on like this. We have to paint the underside of the floor black, and to do that we have to have it a bit up in the air. Probably gonna end up throwing all of this out so we can check the floor and see if we have to do any repairs before we put it on the frame. Then we have to do some repairs on the outside of the body, but that will come later. So yeah, first thing, gonna try to get this up in the air, see what we have in the car, and yeah, take it from there. So I popped the trunk here, which actually is poppable because we have all the locking stuff, which we didn't have on the other body. And here's some junk that I got with this. We have a steering column that I hopefully can use, some spare column parts. We have a heater core, a radiator, an extra transmission, cross members. We have some good stuff. I was hoping to find the other two rear tail light lens, what do you call them, the trim for this side, but I can't find them, and from what I understand these are pretty hard to find. So yeah, we'll see how we can solve that, but yeah, we have some stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can put this up on jack stands or whatever so that we can see how it looks on the underside. I clean out all the junk here in the car, and I actually knew this was in here. It is body bushing kit, obviously, but I don't know for what reason they have made the other side of the bushing in polyurethane or some sort of plastic with the original rubber on the other side. But we might be able to use this, then I can save the kit I bought for my 67. But we'll see. But I mean, this body is obviously been patched a lot, but I think it looks okay. But the only thing we need to do before we put it on the frame is that this part is really rusty. So we have to change basically all of this. And also there's a little area there. But I think that's the only thing I want to do before we put it on the body. At least that's my plan for now. So we obviously have some other not perfect areas, but I mean, someone has obviously cleaned this underside sometime, so it looks really good. So here's the area from the bottom side that we had to fix, and I mean they have patched and they have patched, and the trunk floor is just a flat piece of sheet metal, no shape to it at all. So, and also it has rusted. I think all of the water that's coming through the trunk has gathered here, and also there's a bunch of leaves and stuff. So that we have to fix, but I'm gonna fix that when we have it on the frame, because here we will have a lot of space to work, and I really want to get the body on the frame as soon as possible. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and tackle this, and then we can start figuring out how we're gonna do to put it on body, or the body on the frame. And yeah, before that we have to do some sort of painting on this. So yeah, I'm gonna fix this. We have the bad part cut out. We have it over here. So I'm just gonna do this real simple. I'm just gonna cut a little bigger piece. Gonna hammer in some of these, make it look semi-original. And then we're just gonna start putting it in, cut a little bit, weld a bit, cut a bit until it fits. It's gonna look okay. I mean, this floor is never gonna look not repaired, so I don't see the point in doing this repair invisible. We're just gonna make it rust free. So yeah, gonna do some simple patch. Got a rough cutout, and I have marked where I want all of these so I can hammer in them. So yeah, see if we can make this look a bit decent. Here we have our piece. So you can see this matches. It looks semi-original. So I'm gonna go ahead, make some tacks. Then I'm gonna start hammering it and cutting, hammer, weld, cut, back and forth. Gonna do a little curve up here, but that will come by itself when we start hammering and welding and yeah, doing that. So yeah, just gotta start welding it in. Here we have step one. I just made some tacks, started hammering this, so I think it looks good enough. I was going to make the seam down here, but this folded really nicely, so I might as well do it up here. So yeah, just gonna fully weld it and then we'll be done with this. So this will be the finished area. We got this all edge to edge all the way around. So I'm just gonna fully weld this. I had to add a little patch here because it was pretty bad here that I didn't notice. So yeah, just gonna weld this and we will be done. Here we have the patch all done. I just sanded the worst off here because I mean we have a lot of patches. I mean it's never gonna bother anyone anyway. So yeah, that's done. I made that one also. So for rust we're done for now before we have the body on the frame. And I also taken my wire wheel and went over the whole underside and just removed the loose sitting paint. I think this is some sort of epoxy paint because I have an epoxy paint that is the same as this. So I think that paint's good. So we gotta paint it with something over the whole floor. And I have this paint that I painted the frame with, but unfortunately I have very little left of that. And I also know that I'm gonna hate my life if I'm gonna go ahead and paintbrush the whole underside. So yeah, I'm contemplating whether I should use some 2-component spray paint and paint it, or if we're gonna do something else. So I'm gonna think a little bit what we're gonna do and yeah, see how we're gonna solve this. So I decided we're gonna do it with some 2-component car paint. So I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna use my old style paint gun because it's really good when I wanna paint something up. Because with the newer style, when you have the can over here, you get all the paint over there. But with this, you can paint like this. So yeah, gonna go ahead, paint it all under. I also scuffed this quarter up a little bit so that we can paint it. We're gonna have to remove it later anyway, but just for fun, I wanna see how it looks. So yeah, let's start painting. Obviously, the quarter panel was never going to look great or anything near it, but I think it's fun to get some paint on it. Makes it look a little bit more like a car. And I'm really, really looking forward to do some body work on this and getting some paint on it. But we're getting there, hopefully soon. But the main thing was obviously to get some paint under the car. And if I was smart and if I had the inspiration and energy, I would have fixed the whole firewall and painted it now. It would have been so much easier than doing it later. But I really, really want to get this thing on the frame because my energy is really draining out on this project and I want to feel like we're getting somewhere. We can fix the firewall later. It will be a little more cramped with the engine, but we'll have to manage. But anyway, I think this looks really good. And I think this paint is going to be a little more flat when it's dried. But I also have an idea to put some sort of undercoating under here later. But now we have a good protection for rust. And I only painted back to here because we have to do some work back here later. And it's at the back of the frame. It's gonna be a lot easier to paint there than over all of these places. So yeah, I have to go and take a shower because I look like crap, and I can't work in it more in here anyway because it smells a lot of paint. But anyway, tomorrow we hopefully can get this body onto the frame. So I'm really looking forward for that. So yeah, see you tomorrow, and we'll hopefully get this thing on the frame. I'm back, and today we're finally gonna get the body onto the frame. And about the paint work yesterday, I think it looks really good. And I checked my camera, and I spent 10 minutes with the paint gun just painting the underside of the body. And in hindsight, I'm really happy I did that, because that would have taken like 2 or 3 hours with a brush, and I would have been insane with all the paint I would have gotten over me. So yeah, really happy that I spray painted it. Also, the quarter, I mean, it looks like crap, but you get a little more feeling of it being a true two-door when you don't see the rear door as much as it did before. But yeah, we're gonna take this off anyway. But it's nice to see how it looks. We see that we have this crease all the way. So we have some body lines that we can follow later when we're doing the body work. But obviously there's gonna be a bit of body work on this thing. But anyway, today I wanna get this thing onto the frame. And my idea was I was going to use the engine hoist here in the front in some way. But we have about 4 inches of snow right now, and I'm really complaining, but I really don't want to get my engine hoist out in the snow and start shoveling snow. So we have to figure something out. So my idea right now is that we're going to move the frame forward so that we can I'm gonna remove the wheels, put it on the dollies so that we can push it like this in under here, and then we can just get it in like that. The body is pretty stiff because I can do like this with this jack stand. So maybe if we can weigh it down here with some batteries in the rear, maybe we can remove this why do I keep forgetting the jack stand, so that we can then push it in like this. So yeah, I think we can manage this with only the jack and the stuff I have here. So we'll see if we can solve this. Here's the plan. We have the rear here on the dollies without the wheels, so we have it as low as possible. I put it just the front wheels up on the dollies because the body is very tilted backwards, and now the frame is a bit tilted backwards. If we would have put it just on the dollies without wheels in the front, it would just be too low. So this will be good. So now this will fit in under if we make it right. So what I've done also, I put a stack of batteries there in the left rear. So now we can, if we can't manage to get in front of the thing, pull this and it will float in the air. Bit dangerous, I know, but what we're gonna do, we just have to keep our hands and legs out of the fall area. So yeah, not much left to do. We're just gonna try and get it under the car. Really close, but the problem I have right now is that this jack stand is pushing here, so I would need to rearrange this, maybe move it to the other side and move this out as much as possible. But I don't know how I'm gonna get my jack in here in some way, but yeah, we just have to figure it out. So I managed to scoot over the jack stand a bit, so we're pretty close. And I also put in the body bushings. So I think that we're close enough that we can start trying to get these together. So my idea right now is, I'm not sure which end we're gonna start it, but I'm gonna push up one end, like the rear, until the body is following with it. Then we can put the jack stands in under the frame instead. And then we can do the same in the front, push it up until the body lifts. Then we can pull the jack stands, lower it, and then pull them in the back, and we will have the body on the frame. So I'm gonna see if that's possible. So I jacked up the frame here in the back. I put in the two most backward bolts. So it hangs from the body right now. And in the front, I have jacked it up and got the jack stands out. And I'm not sure how well we are aligned with all the holes, but there's the bushing and there's the threads. So yeah, we're not that far off. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this down on the dollies. Not sure how I'm gonna do in the rear because the rear tires won't fit inside the quarters. But yeah, we'll figure it out somehow so we can get them down on dollies and pull it out in the middle of the garage. But because I'm so tired of being working on the driver's side of the car. So yeah, we're really close to getting the body on. So done a lot of work since the last clip. I managed to get it off the wall so that I could work properly. And I have gotten all of the body bolts in and tightened. So the body is securely mounted to the frame, which is a really big step, I feel. So, and I say that all of the body bolts are in, but that is a little bit through with a modification, because I'm gonna show you here. This body was a little bit more modified than I thought, because as you can see, the wheel arches are, or the wheel housings are a bit wider than I thought they were. So I'm not sure if they had modified the frame that this body was on originally, but yeah, doesn't really matter. But this body mount isn't doing much, so we'll see if we fix something with that later. And I also had to cut a hole here because it interfered, and I also had to cut this lip because it interfered. It hangs a little bit already, even though I cut. So yeah, but it is securely bolted to the frame 100%. So yeah, I think this is a really big step. I really think that we are back to the point where we started to disassemble the car in the beginning. So yeah, I really think that we have truly turned around this project. But just for the feeling of having it on the ground, I just wanna put it on the ground, see if it, when I see it roll, I wanna see it standing on its own wheels with the body on. And I have already tested this wheel. It will fit. It's a snug fit, but it fits within this wheel arch. And this has come loose, so I mean it's a bit wider there already. But on this side I can't get the wheel on, so I'm contemplating if I'm going to make some bigger wheel arches like I did on the other body, but trying to get them a little more nicely this time, or if I'm gonna make a cut here and pull it out or something. So I have to do some figuring out here what I want to do, if I want to keep these or if we're going to make some new wheel arches. So yeah, I'm going to do some thinking. I will be back. So here I have one of the front fenders that came with this body. So I really don't like the rear wheel arches on these. They are so low, looks like some sort of 60s custom. So I want to mimic the front fender arch because I think that will look a lot better. Maybe they will be a little bit bigger, I don't know, but we'll see when we start mocking up. So I'm gonna go ahead, make some sort of template of this or measure or something, and yeah, try to mimic it. Okay, so I made a template of the fender here, and if I would go that route, we would have something like this, like a super stock hemi-dart, which isn't what I am shooting for here. Also, this gap would look really strange, and it would be a bit tighter here. So I took my template and took it to my 67 Chevelle and did some modifications, and I ended up with this line. So then it would be pretty tight here, but very big gap here. So it's really hard to do this. Also the rocker is cut here, and I don't know what is what. So I have to do something in between here, something that looks good. you would think that this is pretty easy to find a good shape, but it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I know on the hardtop body I cut way up here, and that looks really strange, and it was really tight over here, so I really need to try and center this to make it look good. So yeah, I have to figure something out here. So this is what I ended up with. It's really hard to make a wheel arch that looks good, and it's really easy to feel like it's too much air here, but I also don't want to make this curve too gentle, because you want a pretty sharp turn to make it look good, otherwise it will only be round. So yeah, I don't know, I think it looks good enough. Obviously we're missing a corner here we have to fix, but we could, I mean, this metal isn't any good anyway. We could cut this, weld in new pieces and make any kind of shape. Or the easiest would be to buy some repair patch panels for some body that have a wheel arch that we like. But yeah, I think this will be good enough. So I am going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Then we can put this thing down on the ground. So I cut this side, and for some reason it's a lot tighter on this side. I'm not sure if it's something with the quarters or whatever it is, but for now I just want to put it on the ground. Then we can work with the quarters how we want them and what is going to work and not. So yeah, let's put it down on the ground. Very big step. Finally have this thing on the ground. I just hung the fender on there because I had it, but we're really turning this thing into a car. We have a body that is mostly rust-free on a restored frame with brakes, with the working engine, with the transmission, drive shaft, everything. So we're very, very close to getting this to be a running and driving car again, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, unfortunately we're out of time here for today, but yeah, we've made a very big step today. So yeah, it's gonna keep on working tomorrow and see what we're gonna do then. I'm back, it's Thursday, and today will be the last working day this week. So we really have to get something accomplished here. And I gotta say, I don't know if it is the snow or what it is, but today I'm really not feeling it. Don't have any inspiration. But I also feel that I worked so much with this car right now, I really should take a break and work with something else. But yeah, for today, we just have to power through. And I was thinking back and forth here what I was going to do, and it would be really fun to put on as much body parts as possible, making it look as much of a car as we possibly can. But that's really unnecessary since we have a lot of other stuff to do. And then I was thinking, like, I wanted to make it drivable, like just so we can put it in gear and have brakes so that we could just drive it out of the garage to just feel that it is drivable. And then I realized that I can't start bolting up stuff to the firewall before I paint it. So I really felt that I should do that. And then I was like, maybe we can ditch the brakes and I had picked up a shifter that I bought for this thing from a swap meet. So I was thinking, yeah, we can just put in the shifter so that we can put it in gear and we can just go out and just put it in park to stop it. But yeah, I don't want to put in a shifter because I don't know where it's going, because I need a seat. To know where the seat is going, I need steering column and a brake pedal. So we're back again at the firewall. So we really need to tackle this firewall. And I'm not sure what they have done with this thing, what they have welded here. It's the same thing on the other side. And I think they have taken big patches of another car and welded into this body to make rust repairs. So there's some really ugly welds there. It's the same thing on this side. They have cut here for some reason. So yeah, I'm not really sure what they have done, but I want to make it really simple. I don't want to overdo it. I'm going to remove all of this old body sealer, do some new of that. I'm going to patch this hole. I don't see why I would need such a big hole. And yeah, patch just weld in some small holes that we think that we're not going to need. and just grind it down, and then we can put some paint on the Firewall today, and then next week we can put on some brakes, steering column and stuff like that, and hopefully make it drivable. So yeah, just gonna start tackling the Firewall. So I went over the whole Firewall with a wire wheel so that it is as clean as possible. Now I can make a new seam here. I also went over all of this stuff and grinded it down. Also grinded these as much as possible. And I'm not sure if they had some sort of framework when they was working on the body that was welded there and there, or whatever it is. And I think that these seams, they have changed the floorboards on the both sides, but this seam, I think that they was thinking about moving the engine back or something and then change their mind, because I think they look to be the same piece of metal that's been together before. So yeah, I'm not sure what they've done, but they've done a lot of stuff to this body. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, weld this stuff, make a plate for this, and weld up as much holes as possible that I don't think we're ever going to need. Because, I mean, we need to get some wires out of here, but besides that, we don't need any holes for wires. So, yeah, I'm gonna weld up as much holes as possible. Here we have all the holes welded in, and hopefully we haven't welded any holes that we need later, but we could just re-drill them. We got this patched, and yeah, bunch of small holes here and some over there. So I'm gonna go ahead, grind all of that, make it look as nice as possible. We're not gonna overdo it. Then I'm gonna clean up some up here so that we can paint all the way up here. So then we can put on the fenders and paint the whole car with the parts on it later. So yeah, just gonna grind this. So I've grinded all of the holes that we welded, and I'm now seam sealing it. I just put some black paint in the seam so we'd have something there before we put the sealer on. And what I've done is I have applied everywhere, and I'm then going with this brush and doing like this, and you can make it look semi-original. So I'm gonna go over all of this and see how it will turn out. So this is how it turned out. I think with some paint on it, it's gonna look pretty original. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, mix up some paint, and we can paint this. Everything is done. The paint can is loaded. So just gonna go ahead and spray this. So here we have the finished result, and I mean, if you look closely, you can see where it has been welded and stuff like that. But later, the paint is going to be a little more flat like this, and then you won't be able to see any of this. And I mean, it doesn't matter. It's an old car. It has been through stuff in its life. I think it's going to look good. So next week we can start bolting on some stuff. Because unfortunately, it's Thursday today, and tomorrow Friday I have some plans with my family, so there won't be any more progress this week. So, but anyway, I think we have crossed a really big milestone in this by getting the body onto the frame. Now we can just start putting stuff onto the body. And even though I feel that we have made very big progress, I gotta admit that I'm pretty worn out, or what you want to say, on this project. I feel that I should take a break and do something else, but I don't really know what I should do instead. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I come back next week with some new energy for this thing. So next week, my goal is going to be that we're going to be able to drive this thing in and out of the garage. We're gonna fix the brakes, gonna fix some sort of shifter, gonna fix the gas pedal, and the most simple things we can do to make it run and drive. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week.